Hello, I'm Omar, and welcome to the Weatherly Walks Apartment Investment Webinar. So before we begin, our lawyers wanted us to provide you this disclaimer, which you can read on the screen by pausing the video. Hopefully it doesn't put you to sleep. All right, let's move on to the fun stuff now. So we wanted to provide a structure around the agenda. We will begin with the opening remarks, introduce our team before digging deeper into the market, the deal, talking about the offering, and then with the closing remarks. So the Weatherly Walk Apartments are located in Fayetteville, which has a $70,000 plus median income. They are 194 units, Class B stabilized multifamily asset with a 6.6% year-on-year rent growth in comps. So for our business plan, it calls for a $1.3 million CapEx budget on a proven value-add business model within the submarket, where we're now seeing right now comps having a $250 plus rent premium. As always, the big risks in these transactions are the risk of the business plan execution and changing macroeconomic conditions. Now let's transition to the sponsor team. As you all know me, I'm Omar Khan. I'm the managing partner at Boardwalk Wealth. I'm responsible for deal sourcing, asset management, and strategic planning. I have a $3.7 billion plus track record across capital financing and M&A transactions. I've been involved in over $100 million plus of multifamily transactions, and I'm a graduate from the University of Toronto, and I'm a CFA charter holder. Our partner, Nathan, unfortunately, could not join us today. You can read his stellar resume and bio on the investment summary. Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you very much, Omar. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Baltzell. I'm responsible for investor relations here at Boardwalk Wealth. I have a multifamily portfolio that consists of 100 plus units valued at $14 million. I've graduated from Colorado State University, and I am a UCLA alumnus. Alexander Properties has 40 years of property management experience with 5,000 plus units under management across 6 different states, and they specialize in value add projects. They are headquartered in Atlanta, and we are sharing a video highlighting the market.
Atlanta is a phoenix. From a city that literally rose from the ashes to a city that changed the course of our great nation. That's part of our DNA. Welcome to Atlanta, a modern kaleidoscope of creativity and industry, fueled by the new American mainstream, a melting pot of lifestyles, diversity, and communities united in the spirit of respect for all.
We are cultural influencers because it translates.
Our chemistry is the breeding ground for curiosity, creating a culture of tastemakers and leaders at the forefront of art and tech. But to be at the leading edge, you need to be at the center of it all, and in good hands. In addition to boasting an amazing outdoor scene, Atlanta has the largest tree canopy in the nation, anchored by the new Beltline running through the core of our modern city. We attract and nurture artists who impact culture on a global scale and disrupted the entire entertainment industry.
The South got something to say.
Defying expectations, we have even surpassed Hollywood itself.
This ain't that kind of movie.
A city booming with startups and the workforce of the future. But it's no secret. Many Fortune 500 companies have already made it their home. Atlanta has even earned the nickname Transaction Alley.
Atlanta's what's next, Atlanta's what's coming up, and Atlanta is the future.
Always looking for the opportunity of tomorrow, our history has taught us to be fearless, to invent and make room for the new. Atlanta isn't up and coming. It's here, it's now, it's next. Let's show the world we are Atlanta.
Expanding on that video, the story of Atlanta comes down to 2 things. 1, population growth. 2 is job growth. Just this year alone, Atlanta has added over 84,000 jobs, and just recently in August has added around close to 15,000 jobs. Also, Georgia was named the #1 state for doing business for the 5th year in a row. And to give you a better idea of that, they're ranked #3 in the nation for Fortune 500 companies. So you could say Atlanta is a hotbed of commerce and growth. We are excited about this market and our property, Weatherly Walk. As you can see, Weatherly Walk is nestled between I-85 and I-75 corridor. This provides great access to transportation, infrastructure, schools, universities, jobs, you name it. Overall, it's a great location. And to top it off, we're 30 minutes away from the #1 airport in the world. So with that said, I'd like to hand it off to Omar now.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So I want to talk about the deal. Specifically, before we get into the meat and potatoes, what is the story behind the deal? And to be honest with you, our story is always kind of the same across all our deals. We develop, we take the time to develop, we take the time to nurture, and then we lean very heavily on our local relationships. To give you an example, Nathan lives in Atlanta, and I frequently visit. So what does this mean? This means multiple property tours, office visits, social calls, coffee, drinks, golf, the works. So what this does help us do is when we basically highlighted and picked Fayetteville as one of our top 3 submarkets in Atlanta, and when this deal was available, we were able to move very quickly compared to other sponsors and then arrange multiple site tours. And on each of these site tours, we bring our contractors. Not only does this give us an idea of the current state of the property, but it also helps us develop a scope of the value add project and to basically see how is our vision going to play out long term. So by the time the offers were due to the broker and the seller, they both knew us very intimately. In fact, you can hear the funny story of how Nathan went to their office on our deal landing page. It's a very interesting story and will provide you key insight basically on how a lot of these transactions really happen behind the scenes. Now, what is the seller motivation here? Because this is the #1 question I ask my team and every single time I ask a seller. Because my point is, well, if it's such a good deal, why are you selling? Are you opposed to the idea of making more money? And the short answer to this is that this is a long-term investor, 20 plus years. They've met their investment goals and they're rapidly running out of depreciation to offset the income generated from this property. So basically, the longer answer is they are, like everybody else, capital constrained, and they want to diversify into newer projects with higher depreciation offsets. Now, on the upside potential, what does this mean to you or for you as an investor? So we all know the #1 rule in real estate is location, location, location. Fayetteville is a top growth market in Atlanta, $70,000 plus median income. And what this is resulting in right now with an affluent submarket with a big, attractive, economically powerful tenant base, what it's happening right now is for this particular property, Weatherly Walks, the rents are $250 below market. There is minimal deferred maintenance, as you can see on the pictures at the bottom. On top of that, there is a diversity of employment drivers in a supply-constrained submarket. Now, how does that reflect into our business plan here? So our business plan calls for $1.3 million CapEx, which is going to be approximately distributed 55-45 between interiors and exteriors. On the interiors, we will be strategically upgrading about 75% of the units, roughly about $700,000 across 18 months. And we are still underwriting right now to $100 below the in-place comp rents right now. For the common area improvements, as you've seen from the pictures, this is just a beautiful property with lush trees. So we are going to enhance the curbside appeal by initiating extensive landscaping, doing exterior paints, because that really makes the building pop. And then installing an Amazon locker, which is one of the most in-demand amenities by tenants and, by the way, property managers alike. While all of this is going on, we're going to rebrand the property. Now, what does this mean? We're going to install a new monument sign, do all the exterior paints, look good from the outside, look even better on the inside, and this will help us transition from a Class B to a B+ property. The exit strategies are somewhat similar across the board for most value-add projects. We're dispositioned in 3 to 5 years with the refinance options in years 2 to 4. Now, wanted to give you an idea of how the units look and where we're going to take the units, because A picture speaks 1,000 words. So in this particular case, on the left, you can see a classic unit. A classic is the current state of the unit. As you can see, they're very well maintained, but they look kind of dated. But on the right, what you can see is a sample renovated unit, which is what we plan on doing. So we plan on opening up the floor plan, bringing in more natural light, adding a beautiful white backsplash that you see on the screen, a modern two-tone paint, and then topping it all off with beautiful stainless steel appliances to really make the units pop. On the financing side, this again is basically an exercise in how we've developed and nurtured our relationships. You can see that we've been able to secure very attractive financing from Cushman and Wakefield, very low interest rates, and 3 years only of interest-only payments. Now, why did we choose this type of debt? This type of debt allows us the maximum operational flexibility. We can easily implement our business plan from day one, and then from years 2 to 4, we can either move to refinance the property or sell the property without any prepayment penalties. On the risk management side, I personally feel Boardwalk Wealth, this is where we really shine compared to everybody else, because our risk management perspective has been shaped by our experiences on the institutional side. So specifically on this project, we are managing risk by A, purchasing an interest rate cap. What does this do? This mitigates exposure against rising interest rates. Then, similar to what we did in Jacksonville, we're going to have a seamless property management transition by retaining Alexander Properties. And then, when you have an experienced team like ours, number C, that's well-versed in value-add projects, it ensures speed and efficiency of business plan execution. Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you very much. I'm going to now cover the structure of the deal. So the Weatherly Walk apartments are structured as a 506C offering. So what does this mean? This means that it is open to accredited investors with a minimum investment of $50,000 with a 2% acquisition and asset management fee. Our investor-friendly structure has it set at 8% preferred rate of return and a 70-30 split. So big picture, looking at all this, what does this mean? Well, the PPM is scheduled for release in late October. Funding is on a first come, first served basis with a $50,000 minimum. As with all our prior deals, 100,000 plus investors will be given preference. Closing remarks. We are available by email or by phone. Please contact us to reserve your preferred spot and let us know your preferred investment amount. Thank you very much for watching this webinar.